Does your PC have a GPU? Does your PC run Eevee? If your answer is no to both of those questions, then I introduce to you the Emperor Anime Shader Pack. So this version is 1.0 and it's exclusively made for Blender in the Cycles render engine. So this pack is free and still in development, as you could see, and you can use the shader on the internet as you like and in your own projects. But if you plan on making a tutorial on it, credit me in the video and in the description, and as well as put a link in the description to the shader, which you will also find in this video's description. You will not receive the models used in the previews on the right hand side over here. So to install it, you download the itch.io app, or you just go to the website. You click on the link in this video description to take you to this page. Press the download button over here. You will end up with this Emperor Anime Shader zip file. If you unzip it, you'll find this folder, the Emperor Anime Shader. If you open it, you will find the Cycles Anime Shader blend file. So, now let's open Blender, change your render engine to Cycles. You can go to File, Append. Go to wherever you have saved that folder, Emperor Anime Shader, Cycles Anime Shader. Go to the material folder and choose any of the shader you would like to use. You can shift and select them all in the print from library. And as you can see, go to the material tab, all the shaders are here. You can switch out to any of them. So about the noise in the background, they are playing rugby or watching rugby. I'm now going to open this Cycles Anime Shader. So here you can see we have 3 spheres. We have the basic sphere, the hair sphere, and the glossy sphere. So first, we'll just turn off the nighttime. But first we are going to check out the basic. So if I go into the render view, you can see that this shader exists out of a ToonBSDF, an emission shader, a mix shader, and the material output, which only render in cycles. You can change it if you really want to. So how this works is this ToonBSDF controls the color of where the light falls. So as you can see, if I turn it to yellow, the light is yellow. If I turn it to blue, it turns into a blue color with a mixture of this emission. Don't worry about if you put in the when you go to compositing and put in a glare to give it more of a different kinds of lights, because that won't affect how this looks if you have this emission shader on. It will look like plain basic anything. So this basic, you can use it on almost anything, but also if you go to this emission, use this eyedropper, take this color, you'll see it change the color. Go to emission and make the color darker, and we have a shadow, nice shadow. So here you can change the size. Do not take it to 1, because you will see it will look glitchy, but anything under 1 is fine. Do never touch a smooth, because it will just make it more glitchy. The emission shader, you can change the strength if you want to, but I do not recommend it. And as you will see right now, move the light around, the light will follow. Well, the reflective light will follow. I'm pointing at the screen, not sure if you can see me. But yeah, wherever light falls, it changes, which is pretty neat. This took me some experimenting and research. So, next, we are doing the hair shader. Now this is still very much in development because, well, it doesn't work properly as real anime hair would. So you can see it exists of Toon BSDF, a Emission shader, a mix shader, anastrophic BSDF, a mix shader, and then the material output, which also runs in cycles. So the Toon BSDF and the Emission shader works exactly the same. Like if I make it red, you can see we now have red hair. So this anastrophic, the BSDF down here, creates this line. Now try to keep it at white, the color at white the whole time, but you can change the color if you want to different kinds of colors. It won't look very nice, but you can do it. The white looks better. The anastrophe, do not play with that because this is, you can play with it if you want to, but 0.9 is where you will get this effect. Roughness, keep it at 0.5, and the rotation at, well, you can play with it. Just copy this value. You see, it just rotates around, give you your different rotations. That's basically it. It also follows yeah, it doesn't look like this really follows. I'm still working on a environment shader, but that will maybe come in like 1.3 or something if I eventually figure it out. But in our update, I'll maybe just add more shaders or just update the hair shader. So one problem at the moment with the hair shader is that, as you can see, a bit, there you go. Just do this. That here, the hair shader, this hair piece is one piece. And you can see how it runs down. It doesn't look very nice. I figured that it works the best with a mesh with different parts. So if I go to append and take my aqua hairpiece I've made, and I put it on the hair shader, you'll see it will give us these rings. Well, it doesn't look extremely nice, but I'm still experimenting with it. But at the moment, it works best with a shader. Just make sure I'm still recording with my voice, yes. So yeah, that's the effect of the hair shader at the moment. So next we're going to look at the Glossy Shader. So it works almost exactly the same as the basic, except here in the Toon BSDF, you change the diffuse to glossy. That's it. You should try to keep the color at white as well for nice reflections, but you can change it as well. Yeah, do never touch with smooth, and you can change how this reflection looks like. That's like pure reflect. That's like metal almost. And then one, you can take this to 1 because it won't get. You'll see. Maybe it won't get that jagged. And with Emission, it's just like the base color and such, as you can see. So it's just the same outline, and if I change the lighting, will follow as well. So that's basically it at the moment for the shader. You can change the color as you like. You can play with it around. So let's get to the rendering. So bring in a Suzanne monkey. Let's do that and give it subdivision surface. Also one thing, use the subdivision surface on all your models, unless you go for a specific style. Use the subdivision surface on all your models to, well, achieve the best results. Let's just put on a basic anime skin. Let's just play with these values a bit. Where's the light? Okay, so let's just Alt R rotation RX. Let's see. You see, you can also make this like black. Gave it sort of like an outline, but I really like it that much. The blue looks so nice now. That's odd. It did look very much better. Let's change the light a bit. That's so weird. But so let's go get the camera. So the shader doesn't go according to your camera position. It goes from the light position, so that's pretty nice as well. Sorry about that. I don't know if you have heard it, but yeah. Okay. So when it comes to rendering, let's just make sure I'm still recording, because it's 5 times I've done this. Okay. Let's bring this down. So you should go down to this in the render tab. Go enable freestyle. Go down to this tab, which name I don't know, and you'll see you'll have 2 options now: freestyle line set and freestyle line. Go to freestyle line. Here you can change the stroke. I prefer the sketchy, but for now we're going to use a plain, because sketchy has more customizability, but you should really know what you're doing. You can change the color of the stroke, the alpha value of a stroke, thickness of a stroke, the geometry of a stroke, and the texture. So you can really play with the stroke. Yes. So now just go to render and render image. So while we wait for this image to render, then I'll see you when, well, actually, no need for that. I'm just gonna make sure I'm still recording with my voice and everything. Yes, this is music, but for some odd reason it's broken, so don't forget the link will be in the description for that page where you can download my shader. Just give it its time. It's not. I'm not letting it. What you call it? Denoise. I'm not letting it denoise. So it also actually looks pretty great without being denoised, as you can see. It's so you don't. So faster rendering, this also works great because you don't need to denoise anything. It looks great as is. Maybe with the glossy and with the hair, I mean, with a hair shader, I'll show you that you might need to denoise. Yeah, so I don't denoise it, but if you look closely here, you might need to denoise it. But that might change in the new update as soon as I find a way to get those nice jagged nice jagged reflections as you see in traditional anime. My first recording of this video is actually much better, but I've already deleted it because it's the 5th time I am doing this video. I want to release a shader for everybody because this is only, as far as I've seen, this is the only anime shader I have for cycles. Yeah, so of course if you don't have a GPU, this will take a while to render, and even longer for me at the moment because I am screen recording this video. See, you don't need to denoise this at all. It looks pretty great as is. And we'll see as soon as it's done. Okay, I am back. So the shader, the image has rendered, and as you can see, the freestyle lines is in here. You can play a bit more with how it renders and stuff, but it looks great. It looks like anime. You can play a bit more with it as well, but yeah, doesn't look bad. So let's just give you show you how what I talked about with the hair shader. Just putting in the plane and scale it up, and I'm just gonna make a duplicate of. Oh no, wait, that's not needed. So I'm gonna put on the anime hair shader. Just hide the monkey. I'm gonna make it white. Just excuse me. Sorry about that. Come on. Sorry about the noise in the background. Yeah, so this emission also basically does more of the color as well. But if I get out to Zen, now you'll see that's this shadow of her. It's looking great, but so this it does run a bit harder, strong, heavier. It runs heavier on your PC. So let me just go and render the image. And all the changes I've made here won't be changed in the file itself. Maybe in the next update it will have changed to what have happened in this tutorial, but every time something new comes out, like a new shader or a new version of a shader, I will put up a tutorial specific on that shader. Let's look to anime here actually. Well, maybe it's just because it's an odd shape for it to take. It looks like it's pretty cool. 4 minutes remaining. As you can see, you might need denoising for this. But you can play with it. Remember just to put on